our friends. My name is Trevor Taylor, aka Treble Trevor, and I am an intrepid young mixing engineer under the direct tutelage of Jeff Ellis Worldwide. And I'm here today to introduce to you the video of the week titled How to Actually Win the Loudness War. Jeff Ellis Worldwide's face has been wrought with some form of skin malady and is also suffering from general malaise. So instead of filming himself, he has decided to write this script for me to read to you fine individuals at home. The loudness war as we know it is over. The streaming services are now normalizing the playback of volume of our songs as we distribute them to their platforms. No longer does crushing the dynamics and emotion out of our songs with limiters offer the same loudness advantages as it did in the past. Unfortunately, the loudness war rages on, but now in the form of arrangement optimization. The new war is all about finessing the LUFS algorithm into giving you the most favorable loudness score possible. The LUFS algorithm, which has been chosen as the universal way to judge apparent loudness, is actually quite janky. It's not entirely accurate, and it penalizes productions that are very dense and don't have many quiet sections. Also, minimalist productions with no drums often play back way louder than other types of productions that you would expect to be loud, like metal or hard rock. This is simply because the algorithm behind the LUFS loudness measurement is poorly designed and it's just not that accurate. This means that if you have a concern for loudness, this must be addressed during the production phases of the song and not just during the mix. Luckily, new tools have been developed to help us understand how all this is being processed and calculated. And the first step to winning the loudness war is to fully understand what's going on with the way your song is being scored. The following video was going to be a module in Jeff Ellis Worldwide's up-and-coming course entitled Mixer Brain, a principled approach to the art of mixing. However, it was ultimately decided that we needed to reshoot this segment in a more organized way to fit the intentions of the course better. Instead of trash canning this video though, we've decided to upload it as a good introduction to the concept of arrangement optimization. This video is by no means comprehensive and is simply just an introduction. Jeff Ellis highly recommends that you actually do not try to win the loudness war and actually stop caring about it because only people in music production care about loudness. But he believes it's very important for everyone to understand why their song might not be streaming as loud as some of the other loudest songs on Spotify. And it has nothing to do with how many limiters or maximizers you crush your song with. If you're interested in buying the tools featured in this video, we will have an affiliate link below. And if you're interested in keeping up to date with the development of Jeff Ellis's Mixer Brain course, sign up with the mailing list link below. Jeff would also like to thank Bill from Izotope for helping us with this video. They have not paid us to promote their products. However, Jeff will get paid if you do click the affiliate link below. Jeff would also like to make it absolutely clear that he is making these videos to ultimately market products to you someday. So that he can buy a ranch for his faithful dog companion Murphy and pay me, Treble Trevor, enough to stop having to eat cat food. Please enjoy the video and do not use the information you learn in this video to do any evil. May God have mercy on your soul.
How are our angs? How do we look? How's our hair? Oh, am I glossed up? I'm always super glossed up for these shots.
Oh yeah, you can here.
Are you glossed up?
Am I?
If you need, we got some.
Here, we should do a degloss.
Degloss?
Degloss.
Thank you.
I have serious gloss issues. Are you getting the degloss?
You the makeup crew?
We can't. The next one that I do, we'll have a full makeup crew. The next master class. But for now, this is pretty much essentially it.
Nice.
We should eBay these when the thing comes out.
Yeah, you can
Right,
sell
look
them on
this,
eBay for
EB, yeah.
at least
eBay?
EB.
All right, so this module is called Hacking the System. And we got Bill from Izotope here to help us hack the system. This dude is a genius. You can say a little bit about yourself, but this is how I know you. You're like the dude behind all the cool at Izotope. which is amazing because I'm obsessed with the entire product line. I celebrate the entire catalog, and you're the guy behind a lot of this shit. Is that right? Or is that an over-exaggeration?
Thanks. I mean, it's a little bit of an exaggeration just because it takes so many people, and we have an awesome team. I get to work with really great engineers and designers.
There's probably some weird German coders in the mix somewhere, but I feel like that is how most of these companies work, is like there'll be a German dude somewhere doing all the hard shit, and then people like us claim all the glory. Is that pretty much it?
It's Alexei. He's Russian.
Alexei, okay. It was close.
He's
okay.
like the bedrock of Izotope and RX for 20 years.
Cool. Shout out Alexei.
Yeah.
You're owning, making my life so much easier. But yeah, so speaking about your life getting easier, we went to Dale Becker's place in Pasadena and we learned more about LUFS. And I promised earlier that, you know, we shouldn't care so much about loudness, but if you want to be the guy that wants to really care no matter what, there are tools to try to get, to make sure you're getting the most out of normalization on the streaming services. So do you want to introduce this tool and tell us what it does and why it could be beneficial to audio nerds like me and the producer bros watching this that just want to be the loudest person on a Spotify playlist?
Totally. So you've probably already covered how Spotify will measure the integrated loudness of your song and normalize it, usually turning it down to just match all of the other songs. And that's great for listeners so that you're not changing the volume every time. But the really important thing that a lot of people don't understand is that integrated loudness does not necessarily take your whole song into account. Part of the song can actually be left out if it gets too quiet, and if the quiet parts of your song are left out, not counted in the overall measurement, your song is basically measuring louder than it should and will therefore get turned down more than it should.
Okay, interesting.
So, like, if you've ever had a song come out on Spotify and you've been like, why does this sound so much quieter than the song I played before or after it in the playlist? Like, this definitely could be a reason why.
Okay, interesting. So with this knowledge, in a sense, we could potentially hack the system.
To some extent, yeah.
Or if you want to take a less dubious approach, we can use this as a tool to just try to inform our decisions about, hey, there is a quiet section of this song. Is it falling too quiet and it's going to maybe hurt our score of what it could have been? Because we've found, and we're going to showcase this, there's situations where you might have like a bridge of a song or an intro that's very quiet. And if you were to just turn it up slightly, making the song kind of actually louder, you'll get a lower LUFS score and your song will play back louder on the streaming services, which is completely counterintuitive.
Yeah.
But once you know this, there are areas where you could finesse your mix and potentially now all of a sudden you're like a half a dB louder on Spotify. And you even have situations where you've created some of your own music with this in mind and gotten like a dB louder, which is a dB inside of a mix isn't that much, but on Spotify, that's like a massive difference. So let's go through this. And before we get into any of this, if these decisions that you're making, like, it's sometimes cool to have a really, really quiet intro so the drop is like crazy loud. Don't ruin that just because loudness or whatever. However, there's definitely situations where finessing the volume of an intro is like not going to hurt the song artistically, and all of a sudden your song comes out on New Music Friday and it's, you know, it's not like way quieter than Drake's song or something like that. Okay, so should we jump into it?
Let's do
it.
it.
I'll let you sit here. Why don't you sit here, because you know how to use this way faster than me. And
cool.
I think there's a song on here called Sugar, Water, and Lime, and this is a song that I mixed for Elijah Blake. And should we analyze this song and see if there was like an area where we could have made the overall loudness score a little bit better for us?
Yeah. So I'll go ahead and open 2 of the new modules that we added in RX11.
Okay.
This one's Loudness Optimize, and this one's Streaming Preview.
Okay.
So Loudness Optimize, remember when I was saying the whole song doesn't necessarily get taken into account? That's what this dotted line shows. The dotted line is this gate in the LUFS algorithm. Like, this was made by the International Telecommunications Union. So, like, don't take it up with me, because I didn't make this algorithm. We're just trying to help people, like, understand this algorithm that has such a huge effect on music. It has this gate, and when the momentary loudness, which you can see in this trace, falls below the gate, it isn't incorporated into the measurement.
Got it.
And so you can see that, like, this song is 90% measured, and, like, that's a small number. That's because it's got a really long kind of outro and also an intro, but it's also got this 10 seconds of intro here that's falling underneath the gate. And with Loudness Optimized, we can actually lift that above the gate with the processing that's built in. So it's got this upward compressor built into it, and you can kind of guess and check with this, but the easiest way to use it is definitely just hitting this learn button. And it's cycling through all of these different combinations of the compressor parameters to figure out the one that is going to most optimize the loudness.
So what it's going to do is basically, I like to call this the shenanigan line.
Yeah.
What is the official term? Is there an official term for this, like, this line that exists?
It's called the relative gate.
Okay.
In the left side.
I like shenanigan line because we can exploit this line with some shenanigans, and then also the fact that it exists is kind of like a shenanigan situation. So, okay, so we have some stuff under the shenanigan line,
right?
And then
we just like learned compressor settings.
Okay.
To lift those quiet sections above the shenanigan line.
Right.
So when we render this, we can see both in like the loudness trace and loudness optimize here, as well as like if we look at the waveform kind of over here, pop this off and on, and you can see that we're just lifting those quiet sections above the gate.
Oh, so this is just like a before and after.
Yeah, this is just before and after.
Cool.
And we're also like filling in these little gaps here that we're falling below the gate.
Okay.
So it's a very surgical upward compressor. And I've forgotten the most important part. Most important part is that before, this song was negative 8.72 LUFS.
Okay.
And then after lifting those quiet sections, the LUFS has actually reduced
by 0.2.
By 0.2.
Which is huge on 0.2 dB inside of a mix on a vocal isn't something major. However, the song as a whole, as it relates to playing back amongst other songs on a playlist on Spotify, that's a noticeable difference. That's like, that can feel really big. So that's amazing. And then this is like a moment as me as a mixer. I'm thinking that, or like if you're a producer or a songwriter, as you're arranging your song, you could be like midway through, like maybe 80% of producing a song, pop a little bounce out really fast and just see how it's playing out in this module, just to see if you need to change your production at all. Even you could do something like that. You don't even necessarily, or you could, if you're a mixer, I might pop my bounce into here and be like, oh, maybe I just turn up the intro a little bit.
Yeah.
You won't have to even worry about any of the compressor settings inside. I could just re-automate it inside of a mix too, right?
Totally.
And then you can decide, is it worth it bringing it up? Because sometimes you might have a situation where it's like, yeah, boosting that intro up didn't affect the art, or sometimes boosting it was like, you know what, forget the 0.2 dB of loudness on streaming that we're getting out of this. Is like better to have that quiet intro just for the art of the song, right?
Right. I mean,
Cool.
You don't want to let the International Telecommunications Union like impact your art.
They're gonna try. Don't let them.
It's just like, it's better to know, right? It's better to inform yourself about how this song is going to change.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where this streaming preview comes in too, because like we could just come to the initial state, and you can use one of these presets to just be like, how is my song going to sound on Spotify at the highest quality?
Right.
And then render this, or you could just leave this lossless.
And you can render that and just bounce it out and send it to you. So this is a tool that we've actually used when I have a situation where I'm mixing a song and the rough mix is like super loud, and it's really hard to have a more dynamic, quieter mix that will ultimately sound and feel louder once it's out, compared to when an A&R producer or artist are used to hearing a much louder version.
Yeah.
If I just send them my mix and they A-B, because everybody's always A-Bing stuff, they'll be like, why it feels like it's lost some energy sometimes is the feedback I'll get. So what we've been doing is we'll be sending them my mix and the rough mix normalized for loudness, and this is a tool you could do like that. You could bounce this out like that and send them the two versions, right?
Right.
And that's super helpful, because if you, it's just like when you're dealing with mixing for people, there's so many people that don't understand any of this, and it's so much easier to be like, hey, if you do want to A/B with the rough mix, A/B it with this one because these have been normalized for volume, and this is exactly how it's going to be on Spotify.
Right.
And then if you say that, they're much more likely to be able to appreciate the improvements that were made in the mix, because you're not getting tricked with loudness.
Totally. It like unlocks this whole world of understanding the trade-offs that you just don't get when you're listening to the full scale wave file. Because like if you just have a full scale wave file and you put a high shelf and you boost the high shelf, you're like, wow, it's brighter, it's more clear,
Yeah.
like awesome. But then if you loudness normalize it, you're like, wait, why does the bass sound kind of thin now?
Yes. Okay.
You know, like you threw it out of balance, and when it was just the full scale wave, you didn't understand that trade-off.
All right. So now that we understand this, we can be really, 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 really bad.
Yeah.
We can be very, very, very bad.
We can really
bad
hack
boys.
the system.
Should we want to do that?
Just for fun. Just for the science of
Just
it.
for fun. And please don't do this at home unless you're just want to be a really, 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 really bad boy or whatever.
So I've been bad boy. This is a song that I
Wait,
made.
so you've been bad?
I guess it's just the science of it. I had
That's
to be
true.
sure
This
that
is
it
for
worked.
science. Actually, there's nothing bad about this. Is science that we're doing right
Right.
here. Okay, so
This is the scientific method.
um,
So with this song that I made, I included an outro that was longer than I planned to do, and also made the outro at the perfect level such that it would be above that relative gate, the shenanigans line,
yeah,
and just right above.
you're just
it.
riding the shenanigan.
I'm just
line
riding the shenanigan line
with
So
an
you can-
excessively unnecessarily long outro.
outro.
Okay, interesting.
Um,
So this is what I was talking about when you can really start hacking into the matrix here.
because we could take this and see the effect that it had if we just take all of this and delete it
Right.
and watch our LUFS.
That's a dB right there.
That's a dB.
That's
so
huge. And the only difference is the listener at home has to sit through a how many
It's
what is that
like
like
35 seconds.
yeah, just a little
38 seconds.
38 seconds of pretty low outro, and who's to say that that's not artful in its own regard? You know what I mean? So if the next Drake song comes out on Spotify and there's like you start hearing all these like real long unnecessary outros,
Right.
you can blame our little science experiment for that.
Because people kind of thought that you could just add like silence.
That was the
onto
rumor that
end.
I heard, is that you could game the system by adding silence.
Right. That doesn't work.
That doesn't work.
That definitely doesn't work.
Due to the
We
shenanigan
could prove
line.
it. We could. How do we do it? RX has this. I hope I don't look dumb. Signal generator. We can just include silence.
Okay.
we can insert 20 seconds of silence and see what happens to the last score, and nothing happened.
Right.
Oops, I put it in the wrong place.
That's
Whatever.
fine.
Still, the point stands. We
Yeah.
added that 20
Okay.
seconds of silence, and nothing happened because the silence is falling below the
Right.
gate, the shenanigans line.
So a crazy pop. If you wanted to like disguise your shenanigan sections, what you could do is like have a verse that was at shenanigan volume. Which can you play a little snippet of this to see so we can get a sense of how loud that actually is when it's
Yeah.
at shenanigan levels?
So we'll play a little bit of the loud
Okay,
part.
let's
and
see
then-
what the difference.
My portion is awesome, I remedy tracks. Every thought is adorned by a pedigree act. And I'm
Yeah, let's get some.
so barefaced, no air trace. My line is a vice of shooters, hyper life movements, lines of line cruisers. Ripen the enemy, right in the road rage fillet. I height in the inner beef, scribe like I'll never be back. My portion is awesome, I remedy tracks. Every thought is adorned by a pedigree act. And I'm torn in the port looking terribly trapped. The support is a warning, I'll never be back.
Okay, that's not impossibly quiet.
No.
So if you were so inclined, you could start producing your music with this little shenanigan zone in mind, where your verses live around this level, and then your choruses will hit really hard, and then people will be like, "How the heck did you get your stuff so loud on Spotify?" Interesting.
Right.
Now,
It's-
that being said, this is a very non-art approach
Right.
to music, so don't just start doing this because you're abandoning art. However, sometimes in life, for science, you can hack the system, I guess.
Right.
Okay,
And
cool.
depending how big of a jerk I want it to be, we could just start pasting this over and over. And like, while adding silence didn't reduce our LUFS score, watch our LUFS score just like plummet. Shouldn't call it a score. Integrated LUFS measurement.
Got it.
If we wanted half of our song to be perfectly leveled outro, then we could just kind of knock people's socks off.
Right.
Because this should not be a -10 LUFS song.
Right. So if you just continue this on, eventually there's a point where like the whole Spotify global headquarters will just explode when you press play, essentially, right?
Yeah.
Is there any
Well,
limit to the madness?
I don't know. This is, have you seen Dan Warhol's I Won the Loudness War?
I did see that YouTube video.
I think this
That's a
would
YouTube
be-
video, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I think I saw that.
This would be more of winning the Loudness War.
Yeah. Dan is now in second place, essentially.
He made a song where every sample was either full scale one way or the other.
Yeah, I saw that. I did see that.
But this is gonna sound louder than
Wow.
that on Spotify for sure.
Wow. This is just ridiculous. So the guys over at, what's the place called that is setting these standards?
ITU.
They're going to be scrambling
I hope
soon
not.
to, they're going to have to patch the system.
I don't even know how they would. And like, this has been in there for a long, long time. So
Right. And who's to say we can't have a 45-minute just extended low volume outro? You know what I mean?
it's the extended
As
cut.
long as the loud parts hit, it was worth it probably, right? No,
Maybe.
no,
I
it's
feel
not
like
worth
they're
it.
focused on satellites and
Yeah.
hopefully not
That's true. They've
us trying to hack Spotify's loudness.
cool. Well, I think we covered everything, right?
Yeah,
this
me
has been
too.
very informative, and please do not take what we've taught you here and do harm.
Yeah.
Just use it as a tool to, if you have some clients that are like complaining about loudness, or you just want to make sure you're not leaving anything on the table. These are some great tools, and but just stay artful, please. And at the end of the day, it's okay to just forget about all of this, because the only people that care about loudness on like playlists and stuff like that are music producers, engineers.
Yeah.
It's just mixer brain stuff, okay? So this is fun and can be helpful. And if you want to be that guy or girl or whatever the you are, then it's fine. However, This is like, you know, this is Mixer Brain. Hello friends, thank you so much for watching that video. And if you want to stay connected, that's such like a catchword. We're not really going to be connected. I have a mailing list you can sign up for, and we're not going to be connected. I'm just going to blast an email to your email box on every Friday pretty much. And how the mailing list works is I drink like 4 iced coffees Friday morning, and then I write whatever comes into my mind, and then link whatever YouTube video we have for the week. So it's a good way to stay apprised of what's going on with Jeff Ellis Worldwide related content. And if you're digging these videos, I have an online course coming in December called Mixer Brain. And I open like 200 DAW sessions a year when I mix records for people. And everybody's making the same mistakes. And all these mistakes are because people are learning how to mix and produce music off of YouTube. And essentially they're learning wrong, and they're focusing way too much on the tools of mixing and not enough on the bigger picture. So Mixer Brain is all about the bigger picture, and you're gonna love it. It's gonna change your life, and hopefully it'll be ready to go in December. But in the meantime, get on that mailing list, and when Mixer Brain comes out, there'll be some fatty coupons in there to make it super cheap and affordable for everybody, okay? It's probably gonna be much less expensive than just buying Soothe 2, except it's actually gonna change your life, okay? So thank you so much for watching, and have a wonderful and truly blessed day. Okay, bye.